I think in contractual agreement, we must be very clear upfront where the buck stops. The arrangements we have seen mostly involve a foreign firm with a local partner. Now, in a conference in 2019, actually 2020 in Mombasa, there was a presentation whereby when COVID broke out, a foreign firm doing a certain project somewhere just disappeared. And it was left entirely to the local partner. And the project proceeded. It never stopped. One, it tells you probably the foreign partner needed not have been there in the first place. We have the local capacity and competency to do the projects. But in a situation like that, then we will fall back to the contractual agreement. Where does the backstop? So that for me is what we'll probably look at. So that then, who is the responsible engineer who signs the design and takes the ownership of that? I think because it really has to go to an individual, and at times, of course, when you use the license of the firm, then the directors take the responsibility. Yeah, the financing agreements, they may dictate. And depending on the contract type, if it's a design bid build, whether the contractor structural engineer takes responsibility, whether it is a firm or the person, that will be clear upfront. And of course, whoever takes responsibility will submit the license, and therefore it will be very easy to follow up. If it's a design build or an EPC contract, of course, the contractor is responsible, and you should have internal structural engineers to take the responsibility for the structural design. Normally, you would have an independent then consultant just to be the eye of the client. And I have just seen a dispute where this road from Rironi to Mau Summit, the Kenya has cancelled that contract, and then I mean the procurement process for an independent consultant, and there is a request for procurement board to review because someone feels they've been treated unfairly. So that tells you, yes, the practice is there of the client getting an independent eye in form of a consultant. But definitely, depending on the contract type, someone must take the responsibility of the design. And that would be, in a DBB situation, it will be the structural engineer who is appointed, and this is Red Book, FIDIC. Then in a DB situation or an EPC situation, then the contractor takes responsibility, because this is a kind of a situation whereby you design and eventually hand over a complete a system or project. So then, yeah, so that will be very clear upfront, and especially if the lead consultant is foreign, I would assume they take the responsibility, and the domestic, the structural engineer, they would be part of the team. Now, the interesting thing is, we hear that mostly the foreign consultants do very little. Like the local consultants end up doing the donkey work. So, but yeah, sometimes there's a lot of politics involved in those jobs and contracts. But definitely someone has to take responsibility, and this is largely contractual.